How's lunch?
Good talk to you.
Good. Are you enjoying yourselves? You feel like this has been a worthwhile day? Okay. And you're going to go back to your respective schools and say, hey, I want to come to boot camp next year, and I want to bring 3 of my colleagues, right? Okay, good. Well, so our next session is about cryptocurrency. Now here's the thing, I think a lot of our students hear, you can make a lot of money on Bitcoin, right? Or I can get rich by just trading Ethereum or this crypto. Well, the fact is that even the smartest people I know do not know anything about cryptocurrency. And that is what this session is about, is to give you at least a baseline knowledge of what crypto is and how you can better explain it to your students. I mean, Jackie even just said that Everify is putting together a crypto literacy course, which I think is really exciting. That's another option for you to communicate. So we have a very prestigious gentleman that is going to be giving us an education. He's actually been the CFO of Sonic. He has worked at Popeyes, Chuck E. Cheese. It's all his bio. So without further ado, I'm going to relinquish the mic to Dr. Louis Bucky Kilbourne from LSU. Hello, can you hear me? Yes. Well, thank you for being here. I think that the idea of providing this information to you and to see and to bring you up to date on it is very important. I didn't know it until I was asked to speak here, so this is great to have you here. It's also to note that there is in my life, lots of things have changed. So one of the things that I'm just getting used to this last year, first of all, I had to get used to a cell phone. And now at LSU, the students walk down the hallways on their cell phone, and sometimes I'll just stop and stand in front and let them run in. I call these students oblivions. And my nickname for them is oblivions. They're oblivious. And so it was hard for me to get used to the cell phone. And now I have a cell phone that I can talk into my watch over. And when I can know that somebody's calling me because my watch will buzz. Anyway, so I was born after World War II. It's a long time ago. And life has been so different since then. I've thought about, I've thought about it several last couple of years about it. And one of the things that's been really hard across the board is understanding the changes that take place. So the biggest fear my parents had for me was change. I was going to have to change my life. Or they wanted me to not change my life and do exactly what they wanted me to do. And I was born and raised in New Orleans, which was not a good place for you not to think you're going to behave and take care of yourself, right? It was a blessing to be born when I was born there, but I got to tell you, it's a different world today. And so I went to New Orleans, born and raised in New Orleans. At 17, I left home, went to LSU, and I flunked out of LSU. I was
I had an A in party. And that wasn't worth much. The only, I would say, the time I left LSU, I had taken 52 hours, and I had 12 quality points. And one of those quality points was an A for a professor of library science who was my aunt. So I would say, you know, then I flunked out and I ended up going to the Air Force for 4 years. I spent a year and a half in Vietnam, and my whole life, or the things in my life that I had not really understood, were made clear to me after serving in the military. Most important, though, was race relations. I could say that I had no race relations till then. And when I got married, I had two African-American gentlemen to be in my wedding party, to the objection of several different members of my family. So the world has changed so much. And then we had the introduction of, you may think this is something, but we had transistor radios, we had television. I think that's all like new stuff, old stuff, but it was new when I was young. And so understanding that this change has been going on, I've become very much interested in that and studied, went back to school, did well, got a full ride scholarship to go to the University of Pennsylvania and learn about finance and economics. So it was an experience that I was not prepared for when I went back to school. And the education I had about it was something that I had really limited knowledge of. I had to work really, really hard to get through school because it was all new to me. And I see the subject of the topics that are here, and I think, goodness, I didn't have anything like that when I was growing up. You know, it was not like that. And so I just feel like this is a great opportunity for you to introduce new ideas to your students. And so I'm going to talk to you about something that a lot of students are interested in. I will tell you they're interested in it because I hear from them. I hear from them coming to LSU, I hear at LSU, and that is cryptocurrency, the whole idea of cryptocurrency. So what's the idea? Well, the idea is the development of a financial relationship between two parties without banks. It's called peer-to-peer communication, financial transactions, P2P. And that is a part of the, some of the things I'll talk about, but it's a way to communicate worldwide, person to person, peer to peer, without having, and conduct financial transactions without having to go through a bank. So that requires a whole different kind of software that needs to be developed. And I'm going to go over that with you a little bit. It's called blockchain technology.
And there are some people in the back that can't hear you.
Point the mic more directly towards you, sir. There we go. Yes.
Well, I hope I didn't wake you up now. All right, so the idea is that this technology was developed in the late 1990s and started to evolve itself to about 2003, 2004, and that's when a guy named Satoshi Nakamoto became the inventor of something called Bitcoin. And it is, this guy, quote, invented it, published a paper on it, and really within about 2 years nobody heard from him again. It's interesting because it was adopted widely in terms of talking about the whole idea of cyber and cryptocurrencies. And Bitcoin was the biggest and the largest when it first came out. So people are interested, why were people doing this? So for me personally, I didn't understand the financial benefit of it. And it was hard for me to understand why would somebody be doing this. And it was because they saw value in the exchange of this for people to be able to conduct business without going through a bank. So what does that have to do? What's the idea of that? Why do people want to not go through a bank? Well, there are a couple of things. First of all, banks are institutions that actually a lot of people don't trust. And the whole idea of cryptocurrency was to be able to create an exchange between people without going through a bank. That was the reason why it got started. Now it's grown to be a completely different, well, not completely different, but transactions that can occur between individuals in France with somebody in Japan and somebody in New Orleans. All on the same network with transactions that may be all expressed in the terms of crypto coins, like they're really not coins, that's just a term, for the purposes of exchanging information and payment between people that came from your wallet. And your wallet is a digital concept. So to get started on this is to start getting in your mind, this is not on paper. It's not a real coin. There's no such thing as actually a Bitcoin. It's a set of numbers, like you think of a UPC code. It has a set of numbers, and each number represents a value in the Bitcoin network. There's no pile of Bitcoins. There's no bank with Bitcoins in it. Although banks are trying to figure out how to do that now. And because of the popularity of it, and the fact that it couldn't be controlled, central banks, the United States Central Bank, Federal Reserve, is going to be issuing its own crypto coin. Because they want to be in that business too, and they want to be in control. So right now, we know of, just last week, one of the largest frauds that ever took place, ever, bigger than Lehman Brothers. Fraud has taken place, and everybody's asking, how did this happen? Well, it happened because there was no oversight, there were no rules, there were no regulations. If you ever, I'm sure there'll be a book written about it, but it'll be fascinating for you to read how incredibly incompetent and how lazy the government was in trying to monitor this. And as a result, it may be the largest bankruptcy taking place with a firm. It's huge. It's very large. You know, it could be from $100 billion to $1 trillion that has been completely disappeared, gone, stolen. I don't even want to. I actually can't imagine that happening. But as a result of that, there's a lot of skepticism, and rightly so, around this, because it is not regulated. And the whole purpose of regulation is to be able to sure everybody knew where the boundaries are in any kind of effort anybody wanted to take it. So knowing that the boundaries is a part of what everybody wants to have an understanding of, and then be able to use the various coins, as they call them, cryptocurrencies, to be able to use for business purposes. So I'm going to
Page down.
okay, page down. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Push something at work. All right. All right. So one of the things I want to visit with you about is that there are two subjects about this that I will cover with you today. One is the idea of a cryptocurrency, and the other is around the software called blockchain technology. So students will be interested, I guarantee you they will be interested, because it's going to be, they're reorganizing international standards, 900200, for the purposes of ISO standards to be used in banking transactions, which will take the speed of transactions right now on the internet, which can be from 5 to 7 transactions per second, to 5 to 6,000 transactions per second. An enormous amount of speed and cross borders. So the idea that there would be the ability to transact on the internet with digital technology will be able to be done through the development of the blockchain technology. So there's something I leave you with. And so I hope this is maybe open your eyelids just a little bit about things that are coming. All right, that's it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Kilbourne. Let's give him another round of applause. So now I'm about to become a millionaire.